FAIRtax is coming, don't stand in the way. FAIRtax is coming across the USA.
Hello, and welcome to the FAIRtax Mini Billboard project, another effort to get the word out about the FAIRtax. This project was the brainchild of Jerry Hammett, seen on the right in this picture, and Nick Rudlick in the red shirt on the left. I'm Ron Malero, and I'm standing next to Nick. I thought it would be a good idea to use the leftover political signs from the 2010 election and resurface them with FAIRtax information. From there, it has gone on to a program in which we have erected more than 100 mini billboards around the state of Florida, and this can be done anywhere in the country. The original billboards you see in these pictures were made of chloroplast, which is essentially a plastic cardboard, very durable, but very expensive to ship. That was a problem for us. So we have recently made some changes. We have changed the design, and we're now using, as you can see in this picture, a vinyl mini billboard, which can be shipped at a much lower cost. Okay, so now you have your new mini billboard. Beautiful, isn't it? How do we set it up? All right, let's spend some time talking about how to build the frame and to get this thing erected. First, of course, you must have permission of the property owner, if it's not yours, to erect the mini billboard. Make sure you take care of that. The frame is pretty simple. As you can see in this relatively crude diagram, you're going to need 5 8-foot 2x4s. The billboard dimension is exactly 4 feet by 8 feet, or 48 inches by 96 inches. So the outside dimensions of the upper rectangle must be 48 by 96. And then we put a strut in the center of the rectangle for extra support. That will, of course, be less than 48 inches. You'll have to measure. Simply lay the 2x4s on the ground and start putting them together. Some people prefer to use nails. I prefer to use deck screws, which means you'll have to have 2 pretty good capacity drills, one to drill the pilot hole and the other one to drive the screws. By the way, make sure you use treated lumber for this project. As you can see here, this is one of the older signs from a few years ago. Once the frame is completed, we just attach the frame, the mini billboard to the frame, but now there's a little bit of a twist. Here is a project in which we are refurbishing an existing billboard with a vinyl, and we had to put, to protect the vinyl from the wind, we had to put 1/4 inch exterior grade plywood. I had them cut it into 2 4-foot by 4-foot sections so it was easier to transport. We attached those with just simple nails, and I coated the edges just to give it a little extra support and extra weather protection. This particular project was a double-sided mini billboard, so we put the plywood on both sides. And once we have the plywood in place, then we have a couple of volunteers hold the vinyl up, and then one of us has to start drilling and fastening the grommets. The billboards, as you can see, come with a number of brass grommets. We used these large washers with the small hole. They're called fender washers. We use stainless steel screws, but you could probably get away with galvanized. There are a lot of grommets on this, so fasten them accordingly. You want to protect it against a windstorm. You don't want a wind to get underneath the vinyl and pull it off. So you have to use as many as you think are appropriate. There's plenty of grommets on this thing to fasten it. Just use your own judgment on how many you need. And when it's all done, it looks like this. This is a rather typical mini billboard installation. You'll notice that it stands about 6 feet tall, and that's because the bottom 2 feet of the 8-foot verticals are in the ground. You need to have about 2 feet in the ground for it to be stable. And if you do, These mini billboards should last several years. The old chloroplast ones lasted about 3 years before they got brittle and faded. The vinyls probably will do better. Now a note on some alternate installations. As you can see, we needed to lift this one up above the chain link fence, so we simply added some lumber to the legs and gave them about another 4 feet of altitude. In this installation, one end was attached to the fence post, the other end was lengthened and buried in the ground. Still very effective. If you have any questions about the installation process, you can reach this fellow right here, Rudy Trimmel. There's his email address, rudytrimmel@cfl.rr.com. Rudy is a board member of the Florida FAIRtax Educational Association, and he is in charge of our promotional materials. And this is by no means just a Florida program. Anybody in the country can order these mini billboards by going to this website, FAIRtaxLogoStore.org. FAIRtaxLogoStore.org. You can also order your FAIRtax hats, shirts, jackets, because obviously when you go to the installation for this mini billboard, you need to be dressed in your best FAIRtax attire. Okay folks, it's crunch time. Order a mini billboard and get it installed on a busy highway where lots of people see it. Wear your FAIRtax gear, hats, shirts, jackets, many other materials. Let's make sure the public is keenly aware of the FAIRtax so we can finally get this passed in Congress. The best tax proposal ever presented to Congress. Thank you.